what's looking good out here looks really good. For the most part, this is all just mixed shard, and at this point, everything is pushing a good solid 5 months old. And I don't have anything bolting on me. This is holding it very well. But I need to do some thinning out here. There's a couple of things that gotta go. I've got this cucumber plant, and it's just done. One thing about the cucumber plant that has proven itself is that pollination has happened inside the greenhouse. I do have my one and only cucumber that I've got from the Aquaponics. But there's a good reason for all that, and I'll get there in a second. This is all just, it's all done. This is I don't even know what tomato plant it is, but I've gone through a bout of blight with this. Early on, when it was still a small plant, I had blight. I cut it all up, and plant recuperated very well, and then it got blight again, and then I kind of just used it as a sacrificial lamb, let it do its thing kind of to a degree. I mean, I was cutting stuff off, but I didn't fight it as much as I should have. So in some ways, this plant was a sacrifice to basically teach me what blight does to a plant, because I have never had it before, never really dealt with this before. But now I know what I'm dealing with. All the plants that are on these PVC trellises gotta go. I got a cucumber plant, that was a kiwano plant that didn't do anything. I've got this tomato plant, and I've got some green beans over here. And what really comes down to here, this is where I made my mistakes in the greenhouse this year, was I have this mister system. And on those days when it was 100+ degrees, I would have the fan going, I'd have the misters going, and it would keep everything nice and cool over here, and I would bring the temperature down in the greenhouse in this area where the wind flow would go. I'd bring it down like 20 degrees. Now, the problem is that I created a situation where I caused blight on my tomato plants, and anything in here that was fruiting or needed pollinating, those plants paid the price for that. But all my chard, my lettuces, they handled it really well. So I kind of created my own problems in here, really. So once I realized what I was doing, I stopped using the mister, and it was just like, whatever, the plants are just gonna have to grin and bear it. So those 100 whatever degree days they were after the fact, they just had to deal with it. And like I said, all the greens did well, but the fruiting crops did not do well. So it's time to thin things out. I'm gonna get rid of all that stuff that's dead on the PVC pipes, and then in here with the shard, I need to kind of thin things out too, because there's so many days where I just come out here for dinner real quick and just grab a leaf, snap it off, and then I'd like leave this piece, and now there's a good portion of them that just kind of dried up, shriveled up, and they need a little bit of attention because I've got a lot of decomposing material in here. And you know, there's just also leaves that I just didn't get to in time, and they've started to kind of rot off on the plant. So lots of things I need to clean up in here. So let's do some cleaning. Roots are just massive. There is no nice way to do this. I'm gonna have to get kind of brutal about this. Everything is like interconnected in here. I'm moving everything over here. This is gonna get a little tricky. This is tomato plant here. it was not nice taking this out. Everything's grabbing to everything in here. So I'm gonna take a few plants out, but it's gonna put a hurting on everything in here because this stuff is all interconnected. Check out what we found. It was a little surprise. Well, from everything I've read, we want to have a praying mantis in here because they're going to eat any bugs. So if they choose to show up in the garden, it's best to welcome them. That was a bit of a project, a little more than I was anticipating for sure, but I feel like I got a good grip on everything that's out here now. There was a lot of good stuff that I had to cut just so I could kind of make sense of what was going on in there, but it was a good pruning, definitely needed it. And like I said, these plants are like a good 5 months old, most of them. The kale is kind of newer, but that just got hidden in the jungle in there. So I moved a lot of the kale plants so that they could have some sunlight. This one here is a butter lettuce that has gone to seed, and I am going to do my best to save all the seeds from this because that's a valuable crop right there. I want to keep the seeds from that one. Anyway, I want to start transitioning this into a lighter lettuces. Some more like iceberg type of romaine sort of stuff instead of the chard. So anyway, I think maybe what I'll try and do is if I can transplant some of this stuff outside, that would be cool because I got a whole bunch of other stuff starting to come in. Most of this is going to go out in the garden, but this one here is my lettuces. So I want to get those going into the aquaponics, get some more winter type of stuff in there. Overall, this is looking great. I feel like I've got a grip on things now. Having that bucket head shop vac, that was really nice to come in here and kind of clean up in between plants. I had a lot of stuff that just kind of fell over and rotten leaves and stuff, and it's just hard to get. So that shop vac worked great getting inside there. And a couple things I've noticed here. Some of these plants, it's just like that net cup right there. It's just, it's broken. It's totally exploded. So some serious roots going on in there. And same thing over here. I got a couple of them like that. These plants are doing really well in this system. Anyway, I think maybe I'll try and feed this stuff to the goats in the morning. I got a mess, nightmare of a mess on my hands here. These were tomato plants. Some pretty serious roots there. Hopefully I didn't do too much damage because this stuff was all growing together. So I start pulling these roots out, and it's affecting, who knows what's going on in there. But hopefully I didn't do too much damage. I'm sure it'll all recuperate in a day or two. But there's a lot of stuff going on here. This place is a mess. So time to do some fall cleaning. Anyway, I think I got a good grip on the aquaponics system. We'll move forward from here. Get some new crops going soon.